And welcome back. With me is Dr. Amana Tegi. Did I get it right?
Yes, of course.
How are you?
Very good.
Okay, so I got to tell you, super interesting gentleman, and you're going to hear stuff that'll kind of enlighten you into what he does, how he does it, why he does it, and the people he does it for. All right. How long you are a chiropractor?
Yes, 25 years since 1993. But as you know, my father came into Hollandale Beach in 1973.
Wow.
So we've been in the same office at the same door for this year 45 years.
Wow. And, you know, anybody knows 45 years, new things come about and whatever. But why did you choose chiropractic?
Well, as a young kid, I was about 7 years old when my father had one of his offices was within the house.
Okay.
So the downstairs portion had his office. And so I'm outside playing basketball and, you know, as the seasons change, football or whatever. And I watched this lady over the seasons of me playing sports go from a wheelchair to a walker to a cane, and she was walking on her own. And at that time, they busted open a bottle of champagne, my parents, and spoke about this woman. And I could say her name is Mrs. Torino now. And yeah, it was a wonderful experience. And when I graduated from chiropractic school, he asked me why I did this, and I told him that story. They were both amazed that a little kid really understood the magnitude of something of that greatness, and so that shaped my life that way.
That's like a scientific miracle.
Absolutely.
Okay, so, and it was back years.
Yes, in the 60s, yeah.
Okay, so with that, things have changed. Has it gotten easier to help people?
Well, it's easier now because that you have a lot of ability to work on people that through the knowledge of what chiropractic is. Chiropractic had come about in a time where we didn't have as much social media, we didn't have as much awareness of the body that we do today. The people who have come into since the 60s of the awareness of self, of the wholeness of the body and the way that it functions with its environment has become such a big thing today that it's very much in the forefront of healthcare.
What about the different techniques?
Well, you know, they have different techniques in chiropractic, yes. You know, some chiropractors like to do a hands-on method, and some like to use machines. Others like to use a combination, which is a drop table or some, SOT blocks, as well as activator tools, Thompson drop pieces, HIO tables. I happen to have all of that in my office.
Okay.
Because I'm very interested and proficient in all of them. So when I take an x-ray, I see on the x-ray which technique best fits this condition that the person is bringing me.
So basically you're going to go to his office, basically fresh and clean with whatever is going wrong. You do the x-ray right in the office.
Yes.
And then you lay out a path of healing.
Well, we call it a treatment plan.
Okay.
And there is going to be a healing that goes on. We believe in chiropractic that the power that made the body heals the body.
Okay.
So if you get a cut on your arm and you go to the doctor and get stitches, the stitches didn't heal your arm, it had healed it pretty. Right. So your body healed it though, and it would have healed it with or without the stitches. So, but I'm not taking away from modern medicine, obviously.
No.
Somebody has a heart attack, I don't want them in my office.
Right.
I want them getting the right care. So I know that different professionals are going to be available for everybody, and so don't make the stitches any lighter than what it really is, because it does help infections as well. But, you know, again, even after a heart surgery, the body's healing itself. The doctor did perform what he had to do to make that occur so the body could. That's what we do. We open up the nerves that are condensed by, let's call it 2 bricks on top of each other, okay, on a water balloon. Now, if it goes like this, you're going to have the water balloon come out on all sides. So that would be a annual herniation of that disc. If you had the balloon go this way, say you fell on your hip and the bone shifted out this way, the water balloon comes out to this side. We call it a disc wedge. Now, this nerve will be compressed, so the message from the brain to the function that this nerve does will be compromised. So all of a sudden you have tingling in your hand or your foot, depending on what level of the spine. Now, when we take the x-ray, we're going to notice if it's compressed this way, this way, this way, or if it's with a curve. Many people are born with scoliosis. That's a curvature of the spine. That's going to compound where you want to adjust to bring the body back to what we call homeostasis.
Where do all these nerves travel through to get?
Well, you have a spinal column.
Okay.
So the brain and the spinal cord is essentially one organ, and it has cerebral spinal fluid that flows through it. But it's separated for reasons in the Grey's Anatomy for study.
Okay.
That's the reason it's separated, but it is one organ. And the nerves that go through it, the nerve roots, is still part of that organ. So right down here in your hand is a tract from your brain that's all interconnected through cerebral spinal fluid and electromagnetic current that flows through it. So that's the tingling when you have an impingement on the nerve. We take off that impingement.
You know, and this is why it's so important to go to an expert who knows what they're doing in the field to get the proper care you need, and not just anything. So you guys you're going to be celebrating your 45th year?
This is our 45th year at the same location, at the same door, in our 3,000 square foot office.
Wow.
Which also my father designed, and I've brought new equipment and new look to, but he's not with us any longer for the past 10 years, but his memory is. And through these hands, he has taught me the art of chiropractic and how to let the techniques be executed properly. And so there are great scientific miracles that happen in our office all the time because of the way that, and I've actually had the opportunity with a woman who was in a wheelchair from Johns Hopkins University, told she would never walk again, and I got to do this same thing that my father did. My dreams have come true already, but there's been far other things. People have traveled from 5 different countries to stay in Hollandale Beach, where my location is, and so we've been able to help them where all the other doctors of that country could not.
Okay, so now I just want to go into, not only have you been a blessing to these people, but you've been a blessing to a community. I know that you're an award-winning office. I know that...
Well, let me just tell you that at the time Mayor Joy Cooper was in office, she awarded us a day, well, me personally, a day on the calendar as Dr. Joseph2aa, the second day in Hollandale Beach, for the work that I had done as the president of the Chamber of Commerce and the president of the Kiwanis Club and the president of the Police Athletic League. I like to give back to my community and all of my time and money where I can. I do have 4 beautiful kids that need my attention, and so, but what I can, I do give. And you know, the very, very great honor I had was when Arnold Schwarzenegger presented me with the International Sports Chiropractor of the Year just recently in 2016, and I got to be on stage with him because I feel he is one of the foremost people in the health and wellness community in our country.
Was it something that you applied for, or
No.
they just contacted you?
Yeah.
Because of reputation.
Well, my colleagues voted it in as well, and yes, that was an award much like the one that I got with the Police Athletic League for being the most active volunteer in the whole state out of all the other cities in the state of Florida. I got my family flown up to Disney World. These are just the icing on the cake for the most beautiful profession that for me is a great fit, that I get to help all of God's kids who need my help and whatever blessings that I can help out with.
I have a question that's on my mind, okay? At what age is someone able to go to a chiropractor?
I've had patients 6 hours old, and my last patient that I saw that is still alive, 101 years old.
Wow.
So I have many patients that are in their 90s that have been having chiropractic since its inception. And there's always been people that are educated in this other way of healthcare. And we believe that chiropractic is a great starting place for all your situations that are not life-threatening. And let's, do it in the order of the least invasive to the most. And so you can't go backwards from the most, but you can go forward from the least.
Right, and I can tell you right now that anything to avoid surgery is a blessing.
In many cases.
Okay. Well, unless you need to.
Unless you need to.
Okay.
Yes.
I don't want to take away from that because I just went through open heart surgery and that was important.
And we bless those doctors,
Right.
don't we? Yes, absolutely.
But the thing is, like you said, you need a starting point.
That's right.
And if you can do that starting point without being cut open, it's a blessing.
Sure.
And everything that you do for your patients, for your community, for your neighborhood, is a blessing. And we can't thank you enough for all that you do. Everybody, you want to kind of check out the doc. You have a contact information, like a website and stuff?
www.myhollandalechiropractor.com is my website. 954-458-1223 is my office number.
Amazing office.
And if you want to email, if you have ChiroPhys, ChiroPhys, because I am a chiropractic physician,
Okay.
which allows me to do physical therapy and rehab in my office, which I do. That's chirophys@gmail.com. And, please feel free with any questions that you have to call the office or at any one of those type of mediums, and we'll be real happy to answer any questions we can.
And I really want to know more about the benefits of chiropractic for people who have car accidents. Just give me some insight.
Well, for me, I have to say that because the auto industry does believe so much in chiropractic that they recommend us because they know we can fix a lot of things pre-surgical. It has been a great educational tool for the public to get a chance to come into my office and see what we actually do. And through the auto accident, many people will get a whiplash situation which will trigger the nerves to go into numbness, lose use of a hand, a leg, a foot, digestive issues. People feel nausea. They're not reacting to the food the same way they did before an accident. All these things are signs that there's a neurological interference going on that a chiropractor can help with. And so while they're in my office during these times, it's been a true blessing for us as an industry to be able to give forth the idea to people that because you have a headache doesn't mean you have a lack of aspirin in your body.
Okay.
Okay, and it could be a sign that something else is wrong. And because we're dealing with a car, it's easy for me to use the analogy that these are sensory nerves in your body. And just like your sensory lights on your dashboard, when they come on and it says oil, you don't want to put a piece of tape over it and say, now that annoying light is not bothering me anymore.
Okay.
And it only comes on after 3 quarts of oil is low and you're about to blow the engine. And also with the body, pain doesn't come until you're at a point where your disc is at a risk of going from herniated to ruptured. And then it is a surgical situation that we don't do.
Right.
And so at that point, we want to take it from pain, not pain, homeostasis. It's just when you put in 1 quart of oil in the car, the light will go off, but you're still 2 quarts low.
Right.
And remember that these sensory lights on the dashboard are emergency, or as we called them when we were growing up, dummy lights. You were supposed to check the dipstick dummy
Right.
with the oil. But today cars don't burn oil like they used to,
No,
so
no,
you
no.
don't have to worry about that. But when one of the benefits of being a little older is you have these like funny things that these sensory lights remind you of. And so, yes, we don't want to put painkillers on top of a sensory nerve.
Well, that's like a Band-Aid.
It's like putting that piece of tape over the oil light.
Right.
And we don't want to block the body's message to us to say, there's something wrong, address it. The pain will go away as you do so.
You know, an interesting point that you brought up, and we kind of run out of time, but I don't know about you guys, but you said something, well, digestion, why would we even think that it's chiropractic, but it is, okay? I mean, I knew headaches are chiropractic, but I would never have thought that digestive would be chiropractic. So these are things that you have to open your eyes to before you make that decision to be taking a bunch of pills or getting surgery or whatever.
Constipation, genetic changes that can occur if the egg doesn't drop far enough. One of my first patients in chiropractic school as a student doctor was in a fertility clinic. I was able to deliver an adjustment over a 3-week period that opened up the nerve to the ovary, and the egg was able to dispense properly to be fertilized, and they ended up having a child.
Oh, cool.
And as a student doctor, this woman came running into the clinic saying, Dr. Joe got me pregnant. And, I was like, no. Chiropractic, it's assisted.
But look how much it would have cost her the other way around.
Sure.
Okay? With that, everybody, check out Doc. All this information is on the screen. We'll be right back. Thanks, Doc.
Thanks a lot. I really appreciate it.